Welcome to the Banter podcast, where we discuss the ins and outs of the beautiful game, engaging in conversations ranging from friendly banter to heated arguments. But the one thing is that no matter how intense those arguments get, we believe that it's called football and not soccer. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. And on this first episode, we thought we'll give a small intro into the members and also discuss the teams that we live and love. But before we get on with the episode, please take a minute to like this video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It would make our day and would mean the world to us. Also, do follow us on Instagram and X because that's where we give our latest updates. Well, I'm your host Avinash, and joining me on the bench today are Amitesh
Great to have you here, guys.
and Ashwin.
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast.
Boys, so we've been friends since like the first day of undergrad. And the main reason we've been friends is because of football. And undergrad ended a couple of years ago. And we know how hard it's been to, move forward with our lives. And it's been very hard to stay in touch with our friends. But that hasn't really been a problem for us. We've managed to stay in touch. So, Amit, how big a role do you think football has had to play in that?
So the way I see it is that every time you go to a new place or you're with new people, I think you always have that certain awkwardness or that hesitancy. When you start talking to people, I mean, you don't know how they are or what common interests they have. But I think that there's one common thing that unites us all, and that's football. So it's one of the easiest things I feel to get along with people with, and that I think was one of the main reasons. I mean, that we all got close really fast. I mean, the day one, I remember Ashwin, and he came in and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a big Barca fan." And then there's just all Barca upholstery in his room. I mean, starting from
Yeah.
the bed cover to his wall hangings, everything, it's all Barca. And you said you were a gunner. And so it's these things, I mean, it just automatically, you click with some people and you get along. So I think that's like one of the big things about that is football.
Regardless of what opinions we had about other things, football was one thing that we always, instantly could talk about and could instantly share our opinions on this. So I mean, I completely agree that football was that one binding factor. And even if you're not talking for long periods of time, we're busy with our lives. Football is still that one thing where we come back and we can just randomly start talking about, and the conversation is going to flow. I think that's the beauty of the game, and that's the beauty of our friendship, right? So
Yeah.
Exactly. We can go days or months or years without talking, but then the moment we come back to football, it's like we've not really
absolutely,
missed out on anything.
yeah,
I mean, it's that culture, I mean, you're out with your friends. I mean, either you're going to match screenings and you're all having a good time, or it's just a group of 10 people who go out and play at a turf and then or play at a local ground, and then you're done, and then afterwards you're at your local tea shop or something, and it's just you're chilling, you're discussing about the game. I mean, that's what our entire childhood was, and that's how we grew up, our generation grew up, and it's something that I hold very close to my heart, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So I think that's like a big part of why football is like one of the big reasons for our
absolutely.
friendship.
And to add to that point, like most of our college memories are linked to football in some manner. I mean, me and Amitesh used to play on the college team, and
Yeah.
even in first year when we used to go past our curfew and go play football, and then we used to get scolded by the warden because we used to all come back late, but it was worth it because it
Yeah,
was football. So, when
definitely.
most of our memories and most of our conversations, our entire, we used to spend so much time in classes making teams, making the best
Oh
11
god,
team,
yeah.
and all of those things. So most of our memories are linked to football, and I think that's how it should be. It's that kind of a thing.
Back then, like in first year or second year, if someone had told me that, 7 years down the line, we'd actually be making a podcast about this, it's actually not surprising because, I mean, if you think about it, our
No.
entire MBBS was this, it was all building up to us
This is
doing
just in
something
front of
about
a
it.
screen now. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It was either this or on WhatsApp conversations. So, I mean, I'm glad this actually happened and we actually did this. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Also, Ashwin, talking about
Yeah.
the podcast, ever since we've been friends, like you said, almost all our conversations have inevitably been about football. And it's been very, very unlikely that we're usually on the same team of that argument. We are usually at loggerheads with each other with respect to our views on the game. How do you think that's going to affect our discussions here on in the podcast?
I think, yeah, it comes back exactly to the beauty of the game that we're talking about. Because even if there's one incident, 100 people will have 100 different opinions on that same incident, and that's the beauty, like especially in a podcast, you're bound to have people who have different opinions on the same team or the same player, and that's what makes it interesting. Like, you're giving different perspectives of the same incident, of the same game, or the same player, and you also learn from the other person. Okay, yeah, maybe I was not that spot on with my opinion, and that's how the conversation flows. So I think it's very important to have different perspectives, especially in today's world, and also in a podcast where you are supporting different teams, but you're also having the same view of football. It's very important to have that contrasting opinions as well, not just for the sake of it, but because you actually believe in something. And that's the beauty of the game. And as long as I've known you, you've always had the wrong opinions and I've had the right ones, so it works
We
for
shall
me. I
leave
don't
that
know.
to the comment section probably
We'll leave
as
it to
the
the
show
comment.
goes on.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, you've got people, who are like, diehard fans, and there are people who, like, they won't take the other people's opinions to heart, or they will refuse to accept it no matter what. And then, there are some people who get, actually, despite the fact that they're such ardent fans of a particular team, they will end up accepting that, yes, these are the cons of that particular team, and, like, they do accept that, yeah, this is where possibly we are going wrong. And we want to try and include everyone in this, and we want to try and make sure that we resonate with everyone. So I think as you said, like, these differing views, and everyone being at loggerheads, I wouldn't say loggerheads, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. So I think we'll have a good time with it.
Absolutely.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. If not, Ashwin and I wouldn't let you put that blue flag behind you right now.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, Amit, no, I do not want to. Maybe you can just start talking about that team.
Yeah, so I would say that I was a little late to the, I was a little, in a very cricket dominant country, I would say. I mean, as a child, I think I initially started with, cricket. And then maybe later on towards middle school, there was a slight gravitation towards football. And then, there was a period, when Lampard and Terry and Cole, that core Chelsea, the 2011, 2010 period. I mean, that kind of a dream team with Drogba and all. So I think that's when I, start slowly falling in love with the team. And, yeah, they weren't obviously winning trophies left, right, and center at the time. They weren't really, like, doing amazing things, but yeah, the team was solid, and the style of play was really, encouraging at the time. I would say that, over the last few years, we've been changing managers yearly, and now we seem to be changing our entire squads yearly. So I guess consistency is something that we're really having a hard time with at present, which is possibly leading to our poor run of form. But that excitement that Hazard used to inspire, or that excitement that Lampard used to inspire, the feel that you got when Drogba scored goals, that feeling still hasn't gone away, and still expect to see some great things from this club.
I haven't seen any of those feelings in the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but then no, how could you say that in the last 3 to 4 years? I mean, we won a Champions League maybe 2, 3 years back, and that was an amazing feeling. That was great. I mean, it's surreal. See, it may not have been a very challenging league, or it may not have been it may have felt like the fixtures weren't very challenging. But I mean, we beat City when they were at their prime in a Champions League final on that bigger stage. Regardless of whatever it is, that's a huge achievement. So I wouldn't say that there's not sparks of it still left, but yeah, I would definitely say that consistency have been an issue, ownership has been an issue, managerial role at the club has been an issue. There are a lot of issues that we'll be discussing throughout the time here. So, but I feel that there are still positives in the club. Hopefully, we get to see more of them, and then we'll see from
Sure.
there.
Yeah, coming to that Champions League point that you said, right? I think that kind of highlights the decline that you're in right now. That just a couple of years back, you were at the top of the European game, and then the decline has been so rapid and so evident. You were set for something great. With You had a good young
Great,
core,
yeah.
you had a good manager in Thomas Tuchel, and things were looking up for you. And then the decline that started, you've just not been able to arrest that slide. So I think that
Uh,
even though
I
you brought it up as the positive point, that could also be looked as where you were in the game just a few years ago, and where you are now. Because if you look at United, it's been a long time coming. It's not been as drastic as Chelsea
Yeah,
or Arsenal,
yeah.
for that matter. After Wenger left, there was a couple of years of uh, bad football, but eventually they picked the pace up, and they are where they are now. So I feel the
That's
Chelsea
good.
decline is
No,
an
but
eye opener to
I,
the rest of Europe as to what happens when there's bad management and bad ownership right from the top. But of course, like you said, things there are still a few positives. There are some really good players on the team still.
I think
So
the way
yeah,
I think the way I see it is that, I mean, what you just said, no, that United's decline has been coming a long time, or Arsenal had a few bad years and then they've picked up gradually. The time period that people, or the time period that's always associated with Chelsea's decline, has always been very rapid, and there are too many changes too fast that are happening.
right.
It's all, no one's been given enough time, I would say, and even if they have been given enough time, they've not really made good utilization of that time.
Right.
You get it? So even if we won into 2021, which was about 3 years back, we have changed managers 5 times since 2021, possibly. No, 3 or 4 times minimum at least. And the squad has completely changed. I was just talking about it the other day with Avinash, but from the 2021 Champions League winning team, I hardly see anyone in the current squad. And that's shocking in a period of just 3 years.
Exactly. The
So
turnover rate is just too high for anyone to
it's
settle in and actually have an
exactly.
impact.
Exactly. So I guess we should be asking for more time and for more stability, but then again, that also has its drawbacks. So we just have to wait and see what the club is planning and hope for the best. As fans, that's all we could do.
I mean, I also feel like Arsenal are what Chelsea should be, but they are not. So what do you think about Arsenal,
Yeah.
Avinash? Like how are they going up? How is this happening at the club?
For the longest time, I used to be such an optimistic fan because the club didn't give me much to offer beyond a top four spot or a round of 16 demolishment to Barcelona or Bayern Munich. But now, it's like all that optimism is bearing fruit. It's like Arsenal are somewhere on the top of the table. They've become a team that any other team would think twice about facing right now. I mean, it's not going to be a comfortable win for any team against this team that Arteta has been constructing since the past 3 years. So right now, it's like I am not trying to jinx anything because I feel it's a honeymoon period that's been lasting more than a year. And it's still not completely sinking in that we are where I knew we would be. And it's like I'm looking around and telling people I told you so, but I'm afraid to tell them I told you so because I don't want to speak too early. But I'm so glad that, like all the other gunners, I stuck through the entire phase where Arsenal were low, and we've come up, and we are a team that's definitely not going to settle for a second or a third spot. We're a team that's definitely going to keep fighting for the title until we get there. And the atmosphere in the locker room, the dressing room, in the gallery with the fans, it's something which dreams are made of. Like I would do anything to go and be a part of that particular atmosphere, even if it was just for 10 seconds. But I feel since I've been following the club, this is the best Arsenal I've seen. So yeah, I see only a lot of positives coming from here, and Ashwin is absolutely right. I think Arsenal are what Chelsea expected to be at the start of the season, especially because we as clubs have had a lot of issues with our transfers. There was the whole Mudrik thing, and then us getting your rejects, and then Kai ending up with us, and then Jorginho ending up with us. And I mean, it's if things work out in our favor, this will be the best story I would get to tell the next generation.
Yeah, I feel you addressed the two important points. One was time, which Chelsea have not been afforded,
Giving.
which
Yeah.
Arsenal have been. Like you said, Arteta has been on this project for 3 years now, and it was not an instant fix to their problems, but there has been a clear path to success right now. And two, one of the very important things that I felt that Arsenal lacked before was a strong mentality and a strong like backbone to the gumption to actually fight in those big games. They lacked severely. So even though they won their small games, of course, as a club of Arsenal's level should do, when it came to the big games, the weak backbone, the weak step, I mean, they did not turn up. And now I think that has changed. Even with the young core that you guys have, the youngsters are also up for the fight. Like you see, and I think the fans have also responded that way. Like recently, uh, I saw the Liverpool game, and the
Yeah.
atmosphere in the Emirates was, I mean, the players couldn't play bad. Like it was that kind of an atmosphere. Like the fans wouldn't let them play bad, and the players responded in that manner. And it was a young team. You know, this Liverpool squad has been together for a long time. At least the back core of it, with Salah and Jota has had a couple of years, and Nunes, and of course Van Dijk, Alisson. These guys have been around for a long time, and Arsenal are a very young team right now. But still, the way they turned up at the Emirates, and the way they fought, I think that is something that I wouldn't have said about Arsenal maybe 2 or 3 years back. I still think they have a way to go before challenging the likes of City, but they're clearly on their way there. So I think it's a very encouraging sign as an Arsenal fan for you.
I mean, you think about the times we used to ridicule Avinash with Mustafi and El Neni and the way they used to
Exactly.
be playing shambolically. And, I mean, things have just changed since then. I mean, it's just gone on to become, they've gone on to become a very young, dynamic team. And, when you watch them, you get that excitement. I mean, sometimes these days when you watch Chelsea play, it's just like, oh, no, not again. But
It's so
on the other
labored.
hand, yeah, it exactly. I mean, it's like you're just stuck to the running the same drills, the same old routines. Whereas Arsenal, they've got that flair now, they've got that creativity, and they're making the most of it with that young squad. And I think that's really exciting to see. Which is why possibly that, despite not having a squad which is as experienced or as world class as any of the other top leagues, top teams in the top leagues, they still challenged for the title and they fought right till the end last year. And I think this year also is almost the same. So a great kudos to Arsenal and all good things to them.
Guys, on a side note, I'm loving the fact that y'all are supporting Arsenal so much. Like, this is all I've wanted since the first day of college.
Avinash, I think that you forget the times that your ardent support for Arsenal. I mean, I think you forget that you're like, hey, I'm done with Arsenal, man. It's time for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
you're
those
like,
days as well. Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. I
we've
mean,
seen
what
those,
all the
we've
championships
all seen those days, Avinash's days of supporting Sheffield Wednesday because Arsenal were performing terribly.
at this stage where you're ripe. I mean, you're set for success. But that's the thing. That final hurdle is always the hardest one. To reach that city's level, you're going to have to cross that final hurdle, and that's going to be when you first win a trophy. I mean, a trophy of significance like the Premier League. Only then you can start to say, okay, we are here now and we are here to stay. Because you have a young squad, and that squad, if kept together for a long period of time, can deliver trophies. But again, you have to start with that. Let's see. You have a way to go, but yeah, let's see.
Coming to the other team, a team that I'm not too fond of, but whose colors are the same as the logo of our beloved channel. Ashwin, you are an ardent Barca fan. Yeah, carry on.
I mean, yeah, I've been a Barca man since I've started watching football. Like, I still remember like when I started watching football when I was a kid. Maybe one of the first few games I saw was the 2009 Champions League final between United and Barca. And I saw Messi soaring into the Roman skies for that header, that iconic header. And I just felt like, okay, this is my team. Like I could instantly relate to them. I could instantly relate to the style of play. And I've all and you guys have played football with me. I'm very short. I'm not really
Yeah.
the tall physical kind of guy. So that small diminutive passing game, that getting into those quick spaces, that has always been very enticing to me. So when I saw Barca do that, I was just like, this is it. This is the team that I can relate to. It's not just something that I support just for the sake of supporting. It's actually much more than that. I guess you guys can relate to it as well.
Having played with you, you've never really passed the ball.
I haven't passed them. Oh my god! You know what? That is a conversation for a different episode. But for you to say that is absolutely uncalled for, because the most number of passes have been to you only, running on that
Go
right
ahead, bro.
wing.
Go ahead. No, but the fact that
So
the fact that you said that Messi scoring a header is what got you into supporting Barca is like so contradictory. I mean,
no, it's not the header as such, but it's just those moments like that. Like those magic moments basically that Barca have always
Yeah.
produced. It was those moments that
that's true.
felt like, okay, it's something so beautiful to watch Barca play. The having the
Agree.
ball, that the possession based, the passing based game, that was always something that appealed to me so much. And of course, I'm talking about those moments, those magic moments that you don't usually see. in today's game especially. It's all,
Yeah.
very structured football, very tactical oriented football. But Barcelona has always produced those magic moments. I mean, maybe not now, but in the years gone by. But yeah, we're in a rebuilding phase. We have a young core right now. We have been struggling for a while this season, but you have to remember we just won the league last season.
And your manager's on the way out this season, is it?
Yeah, he's going to leave in the summer, but again, it's a lot of factors. There's a lot
No,
of
I think
pressure.
you
That
guys are
job is.
following. I think you guys are just following the Chelsea way, man.
No, I mean he's been here for 2.5 years, so he's had his this thing, and we were not going to fire him. It was he who wanted to leave, and I can understand that. The pressures in that Barcelona job is just on a different level compared to any other job, because we are expected to win every single game, and not just win. The problem is we are expected to win playing a
Dominant.
certain way. We cannot win 1-0 with 30% possession. We cannot. We have to win every game 3-0, 4-0 with 70% possession. And so I think as fans we also have to temper our expectations as well. But it's Barcelona. We have always been expectant, and we have had the best players. We have had the best players. So it's difficult to like see our team in that situation right now. But I mean, I feel like we the only way is up. We have a wonderful young core with Pedri and Gavi and Lamine Yamal who's coming through. Alejandro Balde. These guys are young. They're 16, 17 years. You have to see that as well. Most of our young core, including Araujo, our captain, he's 23 and younger, 24 and younger. These guys, so they will only get better, and they have shown flashes of brilliance. It will happen. We are just stuck right now, but I'm sure we will go back to the game that we used to play, the pinnacle of Europe, if
Yeah.
you will.
That's the thing with Barcelona, right? You're always expected to do. You're expected to out your opponent. A 1-0 victory won't do. Your fans are
Absolutely,
not going to be
absolutely,
satisfied. The
exactly.
atmosphere in the dressing room is also not going to be the same. You're
And
expected
speaking
to
of
win
the
every
fans,
match.
we this season we moved out of Camp Nou, so we are in a different stadium as well. That also plays a part, because these are iconic stadiums, the Bernabeu, the Old Trafford, or Wembley. These are iconic stadiums, right? The moment a team enters that stadium, they have lost 30% of the game right there, in the
Yeah.
atmosphere, the fans that generate them. And then we are in a different stadium now. The seating, what do you call, the stands are a little away from the field as well, so it's not that intense, uh, what do you call, cauldron type of atmosphere. And with that, we have
Yeah.
not been playing some good football, so the fans also, after 40-50 minutes of bad football, they also start getting restless, and that transmits to the team as well. They start seeing what's happening in the stands, and they start getting nervous. If you have followed us, we have had a couple of really bad collapses in the later half, so later stages of the second half as well. Just recently we lost 5-3 to Liverpool, and Villarreal, and we just completely fell apart in those last 20 minutes. That's also because the moment things start going against us, the fans start getting restless, because we are not used to that. We are absolutely not used to having non-dominant periods, if you will. So when that happens, it transmits right from the top of the stadium to the pitch, and everyone gets nervous. The manager gets nervous. Our players can't even make a simple interception, simple pass. Everything just changes instantly. So that's just how it's been with Barcelona. We are expected to win, and we are expected to win handsomely every time. So I feel that's what's weighing on Xavi as well, and that's why he wants to leave, because it's been 2.5 years of this. We win.
Hmm.
We have in these years we have beaten Real Madrid handsomely. We have won trophies. We have won the league. We have won the cup. So it's not been like we have not won. The narrative that's out there is very. That's also because even one loss is considered to be, oh my god, Barcelona lost. How can Barcelona lose? Even now. So I feel that expectation should be tempered as well. But we'll get there. We'll eventually get there. With the young core we have, the only way is up for sure. So yeah.
And another point is that, being a Barcelona fan or a Madrid fan, once the most important player, or rather a Ronaldo or a Messi, leaves the club, you see a lot of fans also switching sides. In a lot of the people who I know support Messi and not Barcelona. The
Right.
reason they supported Barcelona was because of Messi. And you, when you are talking about Barcelona now, you keep using the term we, which shows that you are a proper ardent Barcelona fan and not one of those Messi fans. But you also have at least 75% of people who are Messi fans and not Barcelona fans. What made you stay to Barcelona in spite of Messi leaving, knowing that he was the entire core and center and foundation behind the reason you chose this particular team?
Right. So, like I said, of course, initially when people start watching football, right, they might relate to particular style, a particular player, of course, and then you just follow the player everywhere. And you all know how big of a Messi fan I am. I mean, if I start talking about that, then I mean this episode will go on forever. So let me not go there. But Messi
Please
has
don't.
always been, yeah, Messi has always been
Please
that guy for me.
don't.
But yeah, so when it came to like when Messi left, it's that over all these years, right? I had been ingrained in that Barcelona style, that Barcelona fan culture so much that even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to support any other team. Not that I wanted to ever. I've always related to Barcelona, the just everything, the way Barcelona is, the way the narrative is around Barcelona, the be it in popular culture, in media, in generally how other fans perceive us, everything I have always related to that. And of course, Messi was the big binding factor, but even after he left, I still relate to Barcelona just as much. So the playing style. Okay, we have moved away from that for the past couple of years, but still that entire Barcelona philosophy, if you will, we changed that tiki taka game was introduced by us. So on that grand European level, so that passing game, that philosophy, that entire atmosphere in the stadium when Barcelona play, the expectations also, it's just some all of this is something I relate to. So even after Messi, I still relate to it. Like Barcelona is that club. And yeah, every club goes through ups and downs, and obviously when you lose a player of Messi stature, right, you're bound to, like, there's only one way to go, and that's down. You don't get better than Messi. You don't do anything better than Messi. So, but like I said, we are rebuilding. We have a good young core right now. We are getting that old, our old philosophy back. And like I said, when I pointed out Arsenal, one of the main things was that weak mentality to win games in adverse conditions. And I think that's what has crept through us in the past couple of years. Even when Messi was there, the if you see over the last 4 5 years, our collapses in the Champions League, uh, after holding big leads in the first leg, be it in Rome, be it against Liverpool. So it shows that lack of mentality, that lack of fight. But I think we are definitely getting that. And we will be there. We will be there soon enough.
No, I think synonymously, like, like at the same time, I mean, the way you said it, I think what Chelsea and Arsenal possibly don't have, I mean, at least Barcelona did have that particular style of play. I think the thing, and, that's what attracted you to the game. I don't think Arsenal or Chelsea really had those, definitive styles of play throughout the times that we've been watching the clubs. I mean, managers for at least Chelsea have changed so much that, the styles have changed very rapidly. I mean, you've had managers with like Sari who've gone completely defensive, and then you've got people like Conte who've gone completely attacking. I mean, it depends. But the thing is that, it's that passion, the passion with which the players used to play, the crowd. I mean, English crowds, I mean, they're just on a different level. I mean, Avinash, you would agree on this, I feel, that the English crowds and the love that English teams generate, or the passion that they generate, I think is, I mean, are on a different level. So I think that was what brought us as fans closer to the team as a whole. Not possibly the style of play, but the team involvement as such, and
Right.
the way play built up and stuff.
Well, I think we've covered everything that we had set out to cover in this episode. I am honestly extremely excited to see what the next few episodes hold. Thank you guys for joining me, Ashwin, Amitesh. And guys, for all of you watching, please do follow us because we're going to be coming up with a lot of episodes. The next one's going to be coming out in a couple of days where we're going to be covering a preview of the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League. So please stay tuned for more and stay safe, take care, cheers, and we'll see you on the next one.